The morning sunlight filtered through the tall office windows, casting long shadows across the polished floor. I stood near my desk, organizing papers for the afternoon meeting. The office was quiet at this hour, peaceful even. Most of my colleagues had not yet arrived. I heard footsteps behind me, familiar footsteps. I turned around and saw Sarah walking toward me, Sarah Mitchell, my boss. She had been leading our department for 3 years now, professional, brilliant, always composed. Today, however, something was different. She looked nervous. Her hands fidgeted with the edge of her blazer. Her usual confident smile seemed uncertain. And then I noticed something else. Her white shirt was tied at the front, revealing a rounded belly beneath. Sarah was pregnant. I had not seen her in 2 weeks. She had been working from home, attending meetings only virtually. Now I understood why. "Good morning," I said quietly, trying not to stare. "Welcome back to the office." Sarah nodded. She took a slow breath as if gathering courage. Then she stepped closer. Close enough that I could see the worry in her eyes. "We need to talk," she said softly. "Privately." My heart began to beat faster. Something in her tone made me uneasy. I followed her to the conference room at the end of the hallway, the room with glass walls and a door that could actually close. She shut the door behind us. The click echoed in the silence. We stood there, facing each other. The city sprawled outside the window behind her. Cars moved like tiny toys on the streets below. Everything seemed so distant, so unreal. "The baby in my belly is yours," Sarah said. The words hung in the air between us, heavy, impossible. I stared at her, unable to process what I had just heard. "So, I'm going to be a dad?" I finally managed to say. My voice sounded strange to my own ears, hollow and confused. Sarah shook her head slowly. "No," she said. "You're not going to be a dad. Not in the way you're thinking." I did not understand. Nothing made sense. I had never been romantically involved with Sarah. We had always maintained a strictly professional relationship, respectful, appropriate. "How could this baby be mine?" I began, but Sarah raised her hand gently. "Please, let me explain," she said. She moved to the window, looking out at the city. Her hand rested protectively on her belly. "Do you remember last year, when I asked you about being a sperm donor?" The memory came back slowly. It had been a brief conversation. Sarah had mentioned that she wanted to have a child but had no partner. She had asked if I would consider helping through a clinic, a formal arrangement, all legal and proper. I had agreed. It had seemed simple at the time. Clinical, impersonal. I would donate. She would become a mother. We would continue working together as we always had. Nothing would change between us. "I remember," I said quietly. "Well," Sarah continued, still looking out the window, "that process worked. I'm pregnant. The baby is biologically yours. But I need you to understand something important." She turned to face me. Her eyes were serious but kind. "This doesn't make you a father," she said carefully. "Not in the emotional sense, not in the day-to-day sense. We had an agreement, a legal agreement. You helped me have a child. And I'm grateful, more grateful than you can imagine. But I'm not asking you to be a parent." I sat down slowly in one of the conference room chairs. The leather creaked beneath me. I needed a moment to think, to process. "But the baby is mine," I said, "biologically mine." "Yes," Sarah admitted, "and you have every right to feel whatever you're feeling. Confusion, surprise, maybe even fear. I should have told you sooner that the procedure was successful. I was being selfish, wanting to keep this news to myself for a while." She sat down across from me. The table between us felt like an ocean. "I'm not trying to trap you," she continued. "I'm not expecting anything from you. I just needed you to know. You deserve to know." Before everyone else in the office noticed and started asking questions. The room fell silent. I could hear my own breathing, slow and steady, in and out. I looked at Sarah's face, really looked at it. She seemed tired but hopeful, scared but determined. She was going to be a mother, and she was going to do it alone. "Can I ask you something?" I said after a long pause. Of course. Why did you ask me? Out of everyone you could have asked, why me? Sarah smiled, a real smile this time, warm and genuine. Because you're kind, she said simply. I've worked with you for 3 years. I've seen how you treat people, how you listen, how you care. I thought, if my child has even a little bit of that kindness in their DNA, they'll be okay. Something shifted inside me. The initial shock was fading, being replaced by something else, understanding perhaps, or acceptance. What happens now? I asked. Now, Sarah said, we continue as we were, colleagues, friends maybe, if that's okay with you. The baby will be mine, my responsibility, my joy. You don't owe me anything. I thought about this carefully. I thought about what it meant to be a father, to be a parent. It was more than biology. It was presence, time, love. Sarah was right. I had helped her create a life, but that did not automatically make me a dad. And yet something in me felt protective, curious, connected. Can I know? I asked. Can you tell me sometimes how the baby is doing? Sarah's eyes filled with tears. Happy tears. I would like that, she whispered. Very much. We sat together in that conference room for a while longer, not saying much, just being present. Outside, the city continued its endless rhythm. Inside, 2 people found an unexpected peace. Life, I realized, rarely follows the path we imagine. Sometimes it takes strange turns, unexpected detours. But maybe that is okay. Maybe that is how we grow. I was not going to be a dad, not in the traditional sense, but I would be something, a friend, a supporter, a presence in the background. And somehow that felt exactly right.